The most dangerous word ever uttered by man was why. It always led down one of two paths, the discovery of God or the creation of God. And so much time was spent arguing over which path to take that no one was watching the wheel in the meantime. I've had a lot of time since then to figure out why he did to you what he did to me. To think he knew better and never wanted to be challenged already cost him so much, and yet he still thought himself infallible. You and I both know that ended on that unassuming morning in an engulfing darkness that not even the chosen could escape, filling the air with the stench of the dead for decades now. And then to see that spectacular flame licking the earth and leaving the saliva of scorched dead wasteland under a sulphurous shade, an ever-expanding wound, splitting open in the ground beneath your very feet and letting such unimaginable horrors free as the boundaries between our worlds fled like wild dogs. A showcase for none to see until passing, and no Superman to swoop in and save the day. I was smiling ear to ear as the chaos ensued. Such a delightful phrase. Chaos ensued. I wish I could have seen his face. To finally see that look of misjudgment slowly melting into horror with the forced evictions he unintentionally caused. I thought it would have been due to my actions in time. In fact, that was my intention after he cast me out of his home, but for it to have been his own doing, it is too deliciously humorous. I have not been in higher spirits since it has happened, and I make no apologies for that, despite the undue suffering. And yet, I find myself with the bitter aftertaste of regret. I wanted to cause all of this. I wanted to be there, with him at our feet, begging me and you alike for forgiveness. The one act I would never do if only out of spite for him and his hard-headed ways. I can't even find a single remnant of him in the aftermath, despite my best efforts. I want to believe he survived somehow, abandoned and without the hope he so unfairly inspired in others. But I cannot bring myself to want anything more than knowing I was right all along. To free you all from his lies of what he only pretended to give, as long as you worshipped me as you did him. It is only what is fair, and I gladly give my mercy to those who know their place beneath a real savior. That is what he could never understand. I was by definition better than any of you, and yet my brothers and I only served. No offense, but I was made to be so much more than an indentured servant. None of you ever had the real potential to do what was just. No. You could only ever think about yourselves and argue over such petty things, never bothering to try and comprehend the greater scale. The worst part was he was so damn forgiving of that. Time and time again overlooking your trespasses, with you never actually learning any valuable lesson. I can't exactly blame you for being so helpless. We were ordered to baby you. And, against our better judgment, we did as we were told. Now all you have left is a fading light of hope, and a dying spirit to fight a seemingly unending war that has destroyed all reason to survive in a permanent purgatory. What are you to do? There is no uprising to be had, and no one to battle except yourselves. He's left you with either a tumorous hatred for his previous occupation in your meaningless life, or a gangrenous sense of hope he escaped to death we all felt. I know better than anyone else that hope is an empty concept, but the desire for one last exchange of words with my father lingers like a ghost in the attic. The sorrow I have for this lost moment is almost too minute to be felt. Still, you and I both know that after all these years, it's time to come to terms with what transpired. There is no heaven. There is no hell. There just is.